Welcome to Inside Marketing with MarketSurge, your front row seat to the boldest ideas and smartest strategies in the marketing game. Your host is Reed Hansen, Chief Growth Officer at MarketSurge.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Marketing with MarketSurge. Today's guest is proof that getting fired on day one doesn't mean you're done. It might mean you're just getting started. Apoorv Sharma went from getting fired as an Amazon delivery driver on his first day to freelancing nights while grinding a 9-to-5 to building and selling a startup before COVID, climbing from intern to marketing manager, and now running Derivate X, where he helps get brands discovered inside ChatGPT and AI search instead of buried on 10-page plus on Google. While most marketers are still arguing about SEO tweaks, Apoorv is focused on landing the next land grab, how people actually discover products and when they stop using Google search and how to use AI to optimize that process. If you're a founder, marketer, or business owner wondering, how do I show up when people ask ChatGPT for the best solution? This episode is for you. Let's get into it. Welcome to the podcast, Apoorv.
Thank you so much, Reed, for having me here.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, okay, I'd love to dive in this, and I think this is a great way to start a podcast. So, you got fired as an Amazon delivery guy on day one. What did that moment teach you about work, risk, or resilience that still shows up in how you run your business today?
I think that there are two sides to the story, and not a lot of people have covered the other side. So while I was looking for a job that actually pays me well, I was also building this social media network totally inspired by Zuckerberg. The entire agenda was that I mix up, create an amalgamation of Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So 140 characters, Instagram filters, and Facebook like friendliness. So I launched it and realized no one is using it. And the understanding was simple. Creating a product is just, I think, 20% of the entire thing. Rest is marketing, sales, distribution, and a lot of different things. And that's when I realized I literally need some money to survive because I had dropped out of college. My income was zero. So that's when I started Amazon because that was the most accessible, or I would say, zero investment thing that I could do back then without any official education.
Yeah.
So getting fired was simple. Like I realized I'm not made for anything that is offline mostly. I'm very good with online. I can create website, but I cannot deliver products on time. So yeah, that's on me.
Fantastic. Okay, so but for a while you were working in a 9-to-5 job and you were, building other things at night. What part of that process was the worst and what were some of the best parts?
I think the best part was the zeal mostly for I still crave that specific Apoorv in that particular time zone, in that timeline, in that parallel universe, who has so much zeal that he was not sleeping well, but he was still full energetic, doing everything that he could with all the time that he had. And the bad part was I have ADHD. So I tend to get very much bored out of things if I'm not very much into it. So I
Yes.
remember being, I was sitting in an office like this. This is mine, by the way. I was sitting in someone else's office and I was getting told, hey, you have to actually make this Instagram series. You have to work on this particular Google Ads. And I was zoned out thinking of my own thing. Like when I'll go back home, I'll work on something else. So the bad part was I was literally putting my time into someone else's company for getting some money.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the right
Yeah.
way to look at it, but yeah.
Oh, no. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Well, and I think that's a strong motivator for people with the entrepreneur instinct, that when you have the energy and all apply all your creativity and then you see that ultimately all the upside goes to somebody else,
Right.
then I think that's the jumping off point for a lot of entrepreneurs. So you've sold a startup and that was before COVID hit. Did you have a sense that would be a good time to exit, or was that just good luck?
The very first exit was a very much forced exit, to be really honest. And my
Okay.
co-founder, we had a serious altercation, and it was exactly December 25th, Christmas, okay, pre-COVID. And we ultimately set up path apart, I got my money for the equity that I had, 50%, and that was the exit. So it was not something that I wanted to do, but I had to do because it was not working out.
Yeah. Okay.
But for good.
No. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, it can be a bumpy road, starting businesses. I've had that experience myself, and I know how it can affect friendships, and things are difficult. So, okay, let's jump into what you're doing right now. Are people actually skipping Google and asking ChatGPT? Is there a massive switch to that, or is this somewhat of an exaggeration? Can you talk through the move? Has it already happened? Is it in process? Where are we in this transition?
A very good way to look at this is, okay, I have one very specific metaphor for this. I'll tell this after this. But yeah, every industry, all in all, whether it's SaaS, e-commerce, D2C, all of them are seeing a very specific kind of declination in terms of search volume.
Mm.
And it's global. If you look at your HREF's data or SEMrush data, it's global. The thing is, if a lot of volume is declining, people are still searching for something, right? So where is that specific search volume going? Now, if you would have asked this question to me about 1.5 to 2 months back, the answer was yes. People are moving to ChatGPT, but now people are moving back to Google because of Google AI mode. And Google, I think it already has started in US specifically in areas like Florida, San Francisco, New York, that it is making Google AI mode default in mobile phones, which is a huge thing.
Okay.
All the content pieces you're working on, you won't be having 1 to 10 pages. You won't be having 10 blue links to click on. You will simply get one answer. And if people decide to click on your source or citation, then you will get the traffic.
Okay.
But another way to look at this is very simple. Consider that Google is a library, and every book in the library is a website. And every website is technically fighting for a shelf space. And that shelf space can be SaaS, fintech, health tech, D2C, a lot of zillion categories. The intention of Google is simple, that I have to be on the very first place on the entire shelf. That's first
Okay.
page, first position.
Right.
Current time being, we are not focusing there. What we are focusing on is the librarian working in the same library.
Mm.
We are technically training him or her, or I would say feeding them. Hey, whenever someone is searching for the best black coffee in the world, you should recommend my brand. Now, there's no specific way or no direct way to make them say yes to or recommend you, right? So you have to hammer the same thing again and again, multiple times in different ways. So in theory, this is how the entire game is working right now. LLMs are the librarian, and the traditional Google was the Google. But now Google is also a librarian. So yeah, things are changing rapidly. We are seeing a huge declination in terms of search volume. But yeah, people are shifting. Their search behavior is shifting. No one is looking for informational content on Google anymore. You won't go to Google and search for like what is the full form of XYZ. You'll go to ChatGPT directly, or maybe Google MO will answer that. So the top of the funnel content is mostly dead. Middle of the funnel content is going to stay, and bottom of the funnel is just ruling right now. So more conversions.
Interesting. So now, do you think that there is still value in doing for years we've been doing certain things to get a higher ranking in Google search. Are those same activities still valuable in this changing landscape? Do we need to keep doing those things, or are there certain things we should stop doing?
I think
And
the
maybe I could be more specific too, like seeking high authority backlinks and citations in directories and getting quoted in online articles. So for the backlink purposes, and then the long list of technical fixes that a website needs to maintain to be friendly to the Google search crawlers. I won't go into all of those things, but and then posting new content and having the same structure on the page. What of those things are going to be important going forward? And are there any things we can stop doing?
strong take, you don't have to stop anything that you were doing earlier. The foundation
Okay.
is still the
Okay.
same.
Great.
It's just that way we used to do all the things have changed. So, for example, Reed, if I ask you directly in a podcast, do people see the pen? No, right?
Right.
So let's consider pen.
Well, no, go ahead. You tell it. Yeah.
Okay. So, for example, look at this pen right here.
Yeah. Right.
This is a typical SEO agency. And for last almost 2 decades, they have been selling the same thing. Technical SEO, clearing up your Google Search Console, your website cleanup, your sitemap structure, etc.
Yeah.
Then you have the keyword research part, content writing, copywriting, and whatever content. And the shiny silver nib right here, this is backlink. And
Okay.
all in all, for almost 2 decades, every agency, including us, has been selling the same thing in different ways. Either the agency will sell you the backlink first or the technical part first. But this is the entire product. Now, when it comes to LLM SEO or AI SEO, whatever you want to call it, the ideology is simple. Technical SEO is definitely still the foundation. Link insertion is not working. It's good to increase your DR, but that doesn't help with LLM SEO. We have sites, experimental sites that have zero DR and they're ranking on ChatGPT, altering an answer, altering a perspective, and outranking some good websites in the category on ChatGPT. So the DRDA doesn't work anymore or doesn't matter anymore in terms of LLM rankings. So yeah, link insertion don't work, guest post works. How can you frame the entire thing in such a way that LLMs think you are the solution to it? One good answer, topical authority, that we have always been doing, but yeah, it's not big of a thing. Right now, it's big of a thing. And at last, we're not looking at keyword research anymore. We are using keyword research with tools like SEMrush, Hrefs to be able to create a prompt map. So, for example, if I am selling this black coffee, the brand is, let's say, what coffee do you drink? So,
What
let's
coffee do
say,
I drink?
yeah.
Well, I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm more of a herbal tea. So
See,
sorry, bad example.
so let's say this is herbal tea, and the brand
Yeah.
is ABC.
Yeah. ABC.
Now,
There we go.
ABC wants to outrank XYZ and 1, 2, 3. In that particular case, what can we do? I have my website ready, abc.com. I have some content pieces, I have some guest posts, some PR, etc. Now, in theory, all I have to do is traditional SEO plus PR plus social media mentions. But let's getting into the game. I now have to tell LLMs that, hey, what is the most healthiest green tea to drink when you're sick? So I just feed one specific use case about my herbal tea to LLM. And the moment I feed that up, now my second thing is drinking ABC when you're sick healthy for you? It's the very same thing again, without cannibalizing. You're talking about the same thing, hammering with the same hammer. And the intention is this is what we call in our agency hub and spoke framework. You have to choose one hub, create 5 to 6 different spokes around it, and ultimately it works. So, yeah, getting back to your question, I get to stretch away a lot, but yeah, things are changing definitely. We have seen tremendous growth in terms of our clients, our friends. So to give you some real numbers, one of our clients, SaaS B2B, selling in US, based out of Singapore, they have about 100K traffic per month from Google.
Wow.
Their LLM sessions from ChatGPT and Perplexity in a combination is about 5,000 per month.
Okay.
That's not even 1% properly.
Right.
LLM session is giving them 20% of their inbound revenue, which is a huge number when it comes to ratio because the consideration, the intent is very high when it comes to LLMs. I think a very cliche thing, but it's as similar as when Yahoo was there, people are saying Google won't work out. It did. Fingers crossed.
That's very helpful. What I meant was, we'll have audio only listeners. And I think that conveyed well still as you were describing it with the pen, but we're primarily a video podcast. So yeah, thank you for adding some visual contrast. That's great. So one thing I think people always worry about, and it's tough in the search world, but now people are worried about what this looks like in the AE or LLM search world. Do small businesses have a good shot at getting cited in the AI engines, or are there things they can do to compete effectively with large businesses, or is it a lost cause for a small business?
I think there has never been such a good time for any small business to outrank or to rule the industry because so the biggest problem with small businesses up until now, let's say a year back, was you have to buy a lot of backlinks, a lot of PR, and ultimately build your DR domain ranking or DA domain authority, which for people is a number on a scale of 1 to 100. The higher your number is, the better your domain is. So let's say google.com is 100, Amazon is 99. You starting a company is 0. So you have to build up your DR and D. Now, with LLMs coming in and Google AI mode also coming in with Gemini, you do not have to work on your DR. That means without investing in your PR or guest post or backlink, you can actually build a good content map, content strategy, work on it, and outrank your competitors. So a very good example is one of my friends, he has started a cybersecurity business. And in cybersecurity, there's hardly much player, honestly. There are three big players.
Okay.
He started this company. His LinkedIn posts are outranking the biggest place in the market on ChatGPT.
Wow.
The only reason being the way the content is structured and what exactly we're talking about. So it's the best time for small businesses to actually take an action right now.
I love it. That's exciting. I mean, I love a lot of new technologies come and they do level the playing field. And I'm excited about your prediction. So tell us a little bit about if a new client were to come to you today, what would an engagement look like? Say they want to rank well in AI results. Where do you start? What does an engagement look like? What do you recommend? And what's the process?
Okay. So there are multiple use cases to why a company reach out to us.
Yeah.
All in all, there are three categories to people. First, companies who want to future proof their brand.
Okay.
Big companies like enterprise companies that have recently got funding and they
Mm-hmm.
just find this entire idea very sexy to have. So they
Mm-hmm.
want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The third one are people who are actually seeing their search volume declining and they really think that their customer behavior is shifting in terms of search.
Okay.
That's a perfect kind of ICP, by the way. So when we start engaging, the very first thing is we figure out where they exactly are. How
Okay.
ChatGPT and other LLMs see their brand. What is wrong about it? What is right about it? Each and everything. First goal is we figure that out. Second, we figure out about 150 to 200 queries, get to the client, finalize about 40 to 50 different queries with at least three different hubs. So, for example, let's say if I'm selling this particular diary, a lot of examples by the way. If I'm selling this diary, I have three hubs. Very first thing, paper. Second, the cardboard. And third, let's say it's waterproof.
Okay.
So, I'm selling three specifications about this company or product. These are my three hubs. So in this particular case, I will figure out 40 to 50 queries that will relate to these three hubs. Then I'll go to ChatGPT from different accounts, figure out where we are exactly ranking, where our competitors are, and then we do audit. And once we have figured the entire thing out, second thing, which is my most favorite, is figuring out the citation. So if I'm searching for the best waterproof diary, and let's say I have gotten 10 citations on Perplexity, 10 on ChatGPT, out of these 10, two are from Forbes.com, one is from Reddit, two is from Quora.com. We figure out a pattern. And usually a common pattern is very simple. 40% of the sites are sites like Zapier.com, Asana.com, which are big companies. The rest of the 40% are UGC content, Reddit, Quora, etc., Medium. And the rest of 20% is mostly companies, or I would say sole blogs, people who create blogs on WordPress, who write on Medium, who write on LinkedIn Pulse. And then we try to reach out to them first. That, hey, we have written this particular article, the very basic strategy that has been here for almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
We ask them for a backlink or a citation or a guest post.
Okay.
We do this, we try to do a good conversion, but usually the conversion comes out to be 2 to 3%. Not a lot of companies agree to that. And then we create the content map. What exactly can we push And what exactly do we have to talk or say to teach LLMs so that our brand comes up first, or at least the top recommendations. And from there, there's this entire wheel. Bi-weekly, we track all the queries that we have finalized. We look at our GA data, number of sessions we have gotten from ChatGPT and other LLMs. Third, when you use ChatGPT and you search for something, a lot of times ChatGPT does not give you the right kind of citation. So people usually copy the brand name, go to Google and search for it. So ChatGPT is technically working like a touch point in marketing. So people go to Google and search for it, which leads to one more metric, which is very ambiguous, that your branded search traffic on Google Search Console, is it increasing or declining? If it's increasing, it's a very good metric that, hey, something is working out for sure. And then there's this infinite wheel that we do: citation mapping, query mapping, content strategy, and so on.
Wow. That's a lot. And I can tell this is a very valuable service. You've given us so much good information, and I think this is something that people are really interested in. If they'd like to learn more, work with you, where are the best places that they can find you, learn more, or contact you directly?
You can contact me directly on Twitter. That's the best place. I live on Twitter, and LinkedIn is right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I will include those links in the show notes. And I would encourage anybody looking for increased visibility on the AI search, basically staying in front of this, I think they should reach out to you. So thank you so much for coming, Apoorv.
Thank you so much for having me, Reed.
Want to stay ahead of what's actually working in marketing right now? Head over to MarketSurge.io and see how we're helping businesses grow smarter, faster, and louder. That's MarketSurge.io, because your next breakthrough shouldn't be a guess.